There is a man in his best dress shoes being carted out of the law firm on a gurney under a white sheet. And it is making me wonder who Tyler, who fell victim and maybe has been unalived at this law firm. What's good, y'all? It's your good sister Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Sistas video. And in this video, we're going to talk about who might be dying in season 7. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my sisters' content and conversations, because we have all of the thorough, deep, nuanced, and meticulous conversations around stories, predictions, characters, breakdowns, and more right here on Erica Vane TV, and I would love to have you. At any point, feel free to drop down in the comment section and tell me who you think might be kicking the bucket. Is that what they call it? In season 7 of Tyler Perry's Sistas, as I point out to you who I think it might be. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now, it's between 3 people for me. I do have a video talking about who is actually exiting the series. However, of the major men that could potentially be exiting the series, I don't think any of them are dying. So Aaron won't be mentioned here, Preston won't be mentioned here, Calvin won't be mentioned here, because I don't think that they actually die. I do think that they actually are just exiting the series. But I do have a video talking about who is leaving in season 7, and I'm detailing all of that and providing you all the information that I believe to be true, that I know to be true, and what I am speculating. So you can watch that video after this one. Feel free to do so. But let's get into it, because it's between 3 people for me at the law firm. 3 people could be kicking a damn bucket at the law firm, 2 of which actually work there. One just thinks he works there because he just runs up and in the muck all the time, and I guess he don't have nothing to do with his own damn job. But before I go there, I'm gonna go ahead and start with Hayden, right? Hayden's descent out of marital bliss and back into incel mania and revenge has been a quick one that we are seeing play out at the very end of season 6 and will carry on into season 7. However, it could culminate in him actually losing his life, with him relentlessly pursuing revenge on Fatima and Tamara. First point I want to make: Fatima warned Hayden after having him attacked, stripped naked, and placed on the hood of his car that she's not the one to continue to go back and forth with. She elicited help from Madam, whose best response after people don't take the hint, which is typically a threat, with her torture. The next thing that she does is take their life, and that is to get them out the way and off her nerves. And this could be Hayden's fate as well, given that his anger and his lack of purpose now that he doesn't have a piece of happiness, and given that finding out that Tamara doesn't love him for him and has been using him and wants to take all his money. We got to see a very softer side, a different side of Hayden, with him getting married to Tamara and falling in love with her. Now it kind of feels like, to me, what is his purpose? He has already gone back and forth, played into the misogyny. He played into the incelness. I hate women because they hate me and they don't want to date me, but I'm going to act like I got all this pride and self-esteem when I'm really just a little lowly man who wants people to like me. I don't see the point in him going back to that personality type, that particular storyline. And with us having new writers in season 7, I could totally see them finding a way for Hayden to exit, and this whole revenge arc being the end with his exit. Does that make sense, y'all? I hope it makes sense. So we're going to get to see him at least try to go up against Fatima, try to get her back in the most major, ridiculous way. And this could be the moment where Fatima don't just cause harm, or don't just get somebody beat up, or don't just shoot at somebody, but the bullet might land, the strangle might, take all the final air. Like, something serious might come of it, and it could actually wind up being lethal. While I think that Hayden has a point in wanting revenge and feeling how he feels, and I have a whole video breaking down like if Hayden should actually pursue the revenge, or if he should let it go and just focus his energy on getting out of this marriage with Tamara and her not getting any money. That's definitely a conversation that needs to be had. It's not as cut and dry as, well, Hayden, you started it with Fatima, because he did start it with Fatima, but she didn't have to take it to this level. I think that while that could be a conversation, he doesn't really have much of a place to go with Fatima. And I hate that I'm mentioning this. I really hate the whole addition of Madam into the Sistas storyline, just because so many people within the Sistas fandom get stuck on that, and Fatima becomes the big bad wolf that can never be beat because Madam is her cousin, and I don't think that that's realistic. But for the purposes of the conflict with Hayden, I do think that Fatima is an adversary that he cannot beat. She is out-resourced than him. She is smarter than him. She is more patient than him. He is emotional. He is erratic, and he is overly angry and does not actually move in strategic enough measures to get back at Fatima in a way that would actually hurt her and be meaningful and bring himself to the winning side of this whole battle. So I do see him actually trying to go at her, trying to exact revenge, and he might lose his life because of it. And if it's not him losing his life in the pursuit of this revenge against Tamara and Fatima for this ultimate betrayal, right? The other thing that I thought of was that Hayden doesn't seem to be the type to unalive himself to stop Tamara from getting any of his money in a divorce, or he doesn't seem like the type to actually concede to Fatima. So whether he realizes or not he's unmatched and is not going to be able to defeat Fatima and should leave it alone, should let it go, he's just not the type to just let it go. I think that Hayden's ego and self-importance wouldn't allow him to take his own life. But if Tamara is working in the background and she's planning to get money one way or another, she could do some things that make it look like an accident. He could fall ill and it's like, oh my gosh, he's sick. Oh my gosh, he was poisoned. Or he didn't know he was allergic to, I don't know, y'all. There's so many things in that realm. I don't like to get too diabolical and too sinister in reference to that, but I'm gonna go ahead and plant the seed and y'all take it where y'all need to take it. Tamara could be responsible for it. She has no love lost with this man. He is threatening to oust her and come again against her as well as Fatima. And she from the gutter. She's worked for Madam. She gonna fight for hers, and she could probably come for Hayden's life in the process. Next up, Mr. Gary, the one who don't work at the damn law firm but stays his ass up there. Could Gary die in season 7? I don't know if this is just my hopes and dreams playing out by way of me conjuring up the best case scenario, because y'all know I'm tired of Gary and I really hate to wish for a character to die, but this man is so diabolical. This man is so disrespectful, so dismissive, so destructive of every black woman that he comes into encounter with, that I cannot help but root for nothing but despair, misery, and destruction to find his ass. And if destruction by way of some lethal decision seems to happen, it won't be no love lost and no sweat off of my brow, okay? In the teaser for season 7, there's another man in the background that initially looks like it's Hayden, which is the first thing that made me think it was plausible that it could be Gary on this gurney. After rewatching it, I'm like less likely to believe that, but I just wanted to go ahead and make that note. One of the ways in which this could be Gary exiting by way of being dead is that he could unalive himself after feeling the pressure of this FBI investigation that is going down in season 7, and Andi making it clear that she doesn't ever want to be with him again. Now, y'all have made it quite clear on all of my Our Sisters Keepers episodes that y'all don't believe that Andi is done with Gary. And you know what? Y'all are probably right, but I'm going to try hope that this is the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to Penelope. So I'm going to still stand firmly planted on Andi don't want this man back. And we're getting to see her frolic with a couple other men in season 7. So she don't want this man back. With her not wanting him back, and then all of the financial pressures that are going to come from this FBI investigation, Gary gives me the type. Gary gives me the type of horrible, miserable, insecure, trifling, abusive, narcissistic man that threatens to unalive himself as a manipulation tactic. But then once you lose everything, because all that matters to him is money and prestige and power, if all of that is taken from him, I do not put it past Gary to take his own life in season 7. And that's also kind of giving poetic justice, if you ask me. Now, I know the tone of this video is definitely very morbid. I don't want to hover here too long, but I think that this is a point worth discussing, so we're doing it. So feel free, comment section, to share your thoughts. But then once we finish this video, y'all, we're gonna leave all these morbid ass thoughts here, okay? Second thing, he gets shot by Fatima. I think that Gary could get shot by Fatima after physically threatening her or Andi, and she could use it as claim as self-defense. Gary, we get to see in the teaser that, or no, I'm sorry, the season finale of season 6 teaser, he got so mad and he's screaming in one of the conference rooms with Hayden, or I think maybe it's Hayden's office. They're in a room and he's like grimacing. He's got his fingers all balled up in fists, and he's like very visibly angry, which is so interesting because for the most part we've watched this psychopath maintain his cool while he is menacing all up and through the place. All it takes for him to lose his emotional composure and become aggressive, and Fatima is very quick triggered. She don't like this man anyway, and if he tries to attack her and or Andi and they feel like their lives are threatened, she has a gun license so that she can protect herself. And sometimes you gotta put rabbit dogs down. Now I think that this probably is a stretch, but I wouldn't be mad if this storyline popped up, because at the end of the day, y'all, like, if Andi is completely done with Gary, and I hope that she is, Gary serves no purpose in the Sistas universe. So this could very well be Chido's last season. Chido, we hope that you get another amazing job after this, but it's no love lost when you leave, because Gary is a menace. The third and final thing I want to mention is maybe he has a heart attack or a stroke after having a meltdown in the law firm. Like I said, he has this whole angry moment that we don't get to see him have too often. And with the FBI pressures, with the romantic pressures, you have a kid on the way and a fiance, but you also have an ex-wife who was in jail who might be popping back out, because guess what, y'all? We could see Jasmine. Got a video about that as well. I told y'all, we have all the conversations that y'all want to have. Penelope might not want to be with you. Andi don't want to be with you. You losing all your money. You losing all your power. You losing all your prestige. You might lose your damn business, all your clients, because again, you're being investigated by the FBI. That could be a very stressful circumstance to be in. And you know, maybe you go to the gym, or actually you were skipping the gym for 6 months because you was too busy working it out in Andi's punani. So maybe you're not as healthy as we think you are, and you have a heart attack and or a stroke. Again, these are just options, stories that could play out. Last but certainly not least is Robin. Okay, questions have swirled for quite a while of where is Robin and if he will return to the series. I have a whole video talking about it, so be sure to check that out. And it's mostly because his storyline of fighting to not be pushed out of his ownership of the law firm in this hostile takeover that was started by Hayden and Gary never came to a true conclusion. With the new writers in season 7, I feel like maybe they could be closing out any open loops, and we get to see Robin simply so that they can close this loop. And unfortunately, maybe he unalives himself after the hostile takeover goes through, because he loses everything, or seemingly loses everything. I want to believe that Robin is stronger than this and maybe doesn't suffer from mental things that would help enable him to take his own life in very strenuous times. However, we don't really know a ton about the character, and he has made quite a bit of emotional and mental shifts over the course of the time that we have seen him. So I think that this is an option that the writers could use. We're getting all new writers, so I definitely think that season 7 we're going to see a different tone and feel to the stories that they choose to tell, and then how they actually sum up and put to bed old stories. Now, I've said all this. Again, biggest thing is that they're pulling somebody out of the law firm on a gurney with a white sheet covering them, which typically means that somebody's dead. It could wind up also being somebody of no importance to the audience, a very insignificant or random person. Tyler Perry has been known for the dramatics and the diversions when it comes to his trailers and his teasers. So it could simply be a plant where someone loses their life at the law firm, but it has nothing to do with our main characters and their storylines, and it's only made to be a part of building up the drama and intensity and anticipation in the teaser. With all of the commotion that is taking place at the law firm, it's a wonder that the powers that be literally don't notice and don't start to ask questions and pull people's coattails, which brings me to the video about Andi and Hayden and which one of them are getting fired. But let's finish out this video. Who dies? Unfortunately, I don't think it's Hayden. Unfortunately, I don't know if we're actually going to see Robin again. Even if it's underneath this white sheet. So my money is on Gary, but it won't be something that happens early in the season. But also, y'all, like 55% of me is saying that this is a random person, not anybody of significant importance. And even if we do see Hayden exit, we're going to see him exit in a much more peaceful way, or at least living way. But get into this video talking about Andi and Hayden and which one of them are getting fired, because it's too much going down at the law firm and somebody need to be held accountable for it.